So in the last year, a lot of people have tried mindfulness for the first time during lockdown, and it's estimated around 200 to 500 million people across the world practice it on a daily basis. Now, it's actually something I started trying toward the end of 2019 because I was looking for a better morning routine. However, it's not only just something that's helped my day-to-day life, but surprisingly, it's also helped me become a better photographer as well. And if you're a creator of any kind, whether you're a musician, a writer, or a YouTuber, I would honestly recommend you give it a try because I think it can really help you. However, before we go any further, let's answer the obvious question, which is, what is mindfulness? Now, when I say I practice mindfulness, you probably have this image in your head that I roll out a yoga mat, light some candles, water my bonsai tree, and then sit there cross-legged and say something cringy like, "Good morning, world." But it's actually nothing like that. Now, I think mindfulness and meditation has a bit of a stigma to it, and it's quite easy to sort of picture a cheesy, pretentious image like the one you've just seen when someone mentions it to you. However, of course, it's nothing like that. I will say the bonsai tree is real, but it has nothing to do with my mindfulness. That was just a lockdown project. Now, I've never been a particularly religious or spiritual person of any kind, but I've always tried to look at things logically and keep an open mind. And from a logical perspective, when you look at mindfulness, there's so many people across the world who have tried it and said it's helped them, and there's a lot of research to back that up as well. In particular, it's shown to greatly reduce people's levels of stress and anxiety, and also help their concentration levels. So I thought to myself, well, why not give this a go? It's worth committing some time to. And at the end of the day, what better use of our time to try something out that could potentially help you out and help your general well-being? In reality, this is what mindfulness looks like for me. I normally do it after I've exercised or had a shower in the morning because this is when I find it much easier to just sit still for a while. I grab my phone, my noise-cancelling headphones, and I sit on the couch and open up the Headspace app. I typically do a 10-minute session around 5 times a week. Now, the Headspace app has actually got a great catalogue of different things you can do, all the way from sort of the beginner introductory ones to some more specific courses on certain topics such as anxiety or anger, regret and things like that. Now, I should say that I'm not sponsored by Headspace in any way, that's just happened to be the app I use, and there are plenty of other ones out there that you can try. Now, in a nutshell, mindfulness is just simply the act of practicing, focusing on your breathing with the aim of having your mind being better at staying in the moment and not getting caught up in feelings and emotions, and if you do, just being mindful of those. Nothing more complicated than that. And a really great example they give in the Headspace app is this idea that our minds are like a busy road. And the idea is that we're sitting beside this road and there's a lot of cars going by, and some days and some other days it's a bit quieter. And now and again we might get this urge to end up chasing after some of these cars, and other times they would just sort of sit there and let the cars go by. And the idea is that our mind can sometimes be busy with these cars, which are sort of thoughts and feelings, and a lot of the time these thoughts and feelings might be something like you maybe get angry about something and you sort of chase after the car. And obviously the aim is to not be chasing after your thoughts and feelings so much. And it's okay if you do, of course, because that's just a natural human nature thing to do, but it's also about then trying to bring yourself back into the present moment and just be mindful and acknowledge those feelings that you're having. So for example, if you're really angry about something that happened yesterday and you're going over and over it in your head, then you're not really staying in the moment, you're kind of dwelling in the past. Similarly, if you've got like a big meeting or a job interview on Monday morning and you're feeling nervous and anxious and uptight about that, and that's going over your head, then again, you're looking too far ahead right now and you're not concentrating on what you're doing in the here and now. Now, practicing mindfulness regularly isn't going to suddenly just sort of make you not feel any emotions or feelings and just sort of be calm in any sort of situation. It's not about that. But I found if I practice it regularly, what it does for me is I'm able to more step back from angry or stressful situations. So instead of actually sort of getting caught up in these things and just kind of getting caught up in the emotion at the moment, I'm able to sort of just step back a little bit and sort of look at it a bit more objectively. On top of that, I've also found as well that even when it comes to doing sort of maybe mind numbing or monotonous activities, that I'm able to actually concentrate for a bit longer because I'm not just thinking about, I'm just trying to get through this really quickly so I can go to do something else that I'm going to enjoy a lot more. So at this moment, you're probably wondering to yourself, well, what does mindfulness have to do with being a better creator? Well, what I've done over the years as being a photographer is I've worked really hard to try and improve my technique as much as possible. I've watched YouTube videos, done an online course, read up, researched professional photographers to try and see what I can do to improve my skill and technique. And of course, this has been a really good thing to do because this is equipped with a lot of different techniques that I can utilize depending on what I'm photographing. And I'm sure this is the same for many other creators out there. For example, filmmakers brushing up on their ability to write and edit a film, or like a musician learn how to play a new piece of music. And of course, it's always great to do this. It's always great to try and continually improve at something and keep adding another string to your bow. However, what I found is with all this additional knowledge and techniques does come one drawback. Now, you might think to yourself that when you're out there sort of taking photographs of sunsets and sunrises, that there's nothing more relaxing than that. And for the most part, that's true. Sometimes there's nothing better than being out there when it's sort of nice weather and just taking in the scenery. However, sometimes this catalogue of photography techniques in my mind can sometimes work against me. I begin to start thinking like, well, why don't I make the image black and white? And if I am going to make it black and white, I might think to myself, well, maybe I'm going to do a long exposure. I might start thinking to myself, I want to get clouds on black and white. Essentially, my mind can get quite busy, and what can end up happening is because I'm overthinking, I'm not concentrating in the shot at the moment. I'm not staying in the moment. I'm actually thinking ahead to the next shot I'm going to be taking, and of course that can lead to some mistakes. And there's nothing worse as a photographer when you have a really nice sort of landscape or a sunset. The lighting's great, the subject's great, the composition in your head, you've got a really good idea for some composition. Then you go back later on, look at those photographs on your laptop and PC, and realise you've made a mistake. You know, something's out of focus, the ISO was too high, the exposure wasn't right, and if you try and adjust it in Photoshop, it just doesn't come out looking good at all. However, I've actually found that having the mindfulness, what that's allowed me to do is it's allowed me to slow down my mind and actually go through things one at a time. And all I need to do to slow down my mind is just simply focus on my breathing for a few moments. And what this allows me to do is just calm my mind enough that I can start going through all these different ideas for different photographs I want to take, but do it one by one and step by step. Then of course later on, when I've got my own leisure, I can look at on the PC or laptop, and then I can start going through them and see which one's the best shot and edit it the way I want to edit it. And this is honestly one of the benefits of doing mindfulness that I never anticipated. As I said at the beginning of this video, the main reason I did it at first was because I was looking to build a better morning routine, and this is something that I'd seen come up a lot and recommended by a lot of different people. And not only has it helped me just be a better photographer when I'm out about with my camera, but I've also found it's helped me as well just when I'm at home, just planning out any sort of ideas, either photography ones or even this YouTube channel as well. I'm sure I'm not the only person out there who's a creative person of some kind, that you have some days where you have the notepad in front of you and want to think up some really good creative ideas, where you're a writer, musician, whatever it may be, and of course the page is just blank, you can't think of anything. Then of course you get those other days where suddenly you get all these great ideas come at once in one big flurry, and you have a million ideas in your head. And of course, similar to being out with the camera, you can make this mistake of overthinking things, which can then lead you to doing things like ideas become a bit half-baked, or what you end up doing is you try and plan out the details of 3 months worth of projects over a couple of hours. And again, this is where I found the mindfulness has really come in to help me, because it's allowed me just to slow things down and just take things one thing at a time, one idea at a time, and get all my thoughts and ideas on the page written down nice and clearly without getting all sort of muddled up, and as I say, making some mistakes and then not finding the same inspiration the day later and suddenly forgotten a lot of the things that I had in my head. So it is really something I'd recommend trying, because as I say, if you're a creator of any kind, mindfulness can really help you just get a nice clarity of thought, and that's a great way to end up getting in your sort of creative ideas out there, getting them down on a piece of paper without, as I say, causing yourself any issues with overthinking. Now, I'm not saying that mindfulness is some sort of quick fix, and that if you start doing it, that overnight you're just suddenly going to be a calmer person, or a better creator, a better musician, writer, photographer, just like that. Like of all other things, you do need to practice at it and commit to it before you start seeing the benefits. In my own personal experience, I would say you probably need to do it for at least about a month before you're going to start seeing some of those benefits in your day-to-day life. However, it's something I strongly urge you to give a try, because as I say, it's not just something that's going to help you in your personal life, but if you're a creator of any kind too, it can really benefit you and help your mind just slow down in the situation I talked about previously. I really do hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. If you did like it, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.